Today's video, I'm going to show you how I make my bread recipe in under 5 minutes. It's a very simple recipe. But do keep in mind that because I do so much here, right now it's springtime and I'm getting my garden ready. That's why I'm like this, because I get up in the morning and I do gardening till about 12. Then it gets super hot here in Florida between 12 and 4 o'clock. So what I do is I have my dinner at 3 and then at 4 I'm back outside again. So I'm pretty much going to be dressed like this all day because I have to be back outside to work on my garden at 4. But in the meantime, during these hours, I get a lot of things done. And one of those things is I make my bread recipe, which takes about 3 hours. Now, because to me, sustainable means being modern day sustainable, which means that during the time that I'm gardening, I would be making my bread in a bread maker. And this bread maker, I think I paid about $39 years ago. I've had this bread maker for years and it's perfect for me because as I'm doing all of the stuff around this property by myself, the bread is getting done for me. And it's really nice when I come inside out of a hard day of working outside, then I can have some hot, fresh bread with some butter. So I'm going to show you how to make this recipe. It's one of the fastest, easiest recipes. And I've come across lots of recipes in the past, but this by far is the one that I've stick to. It's true and it always works for me on my bread maker. It's super easy to make. So there's not a lot of ingredients, no eggs or anything like that. So I'm going to just go down through the ingredients and then we're going to get it done. I have regular all-purpose flour here. You don't need bread flour for this, and I'm going to show you how I make bread flour with all-purpose flour. I also like, and this is optional, I like my bread to have some wheat in it. So I do put some wheat in it, and you can vary the recipe depending on how much wheat you want in your bread recipe. There's powdered milk here, sugar, olive oil. You can also use coconut oil. I use coconut oil in the summertime when my coconut oil is liquefied, but in the wintertime, because my coconut oil gets hard and I don't feel like melting it, if I don't have time, I'll just use olive oil. And then of course some salt. I also have regular kind of yeast. And then I also have gluten. Now I buy gluten on Amazon, and what this gluten does is it turns my all-purpose flour into bread flour. So you don't have to go out and have a separate flour for making bread. You can actually use all-purpose flour for making bread by adding the gluten into the amount of flour that you're using. So we're going to get into that today. I also have some water here. So the first thing I'm going to do is, because I'm using my bread maker, is I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I like to put the olive oil first because putting the olive oil first makes sure that my little paddle doesn't get stuck. So I put that in first. Then I'll add my 1 cup of water. You can heat this up if you want to. This is just lukewarm water. And I use that. And then I will use, the next thing I will use is my flour. And I will put it, this recipe uses 3 cups of flour. So I can use any combination that I want to. So what I usually will put is, I'll put in 2 cups of all-purpose flour and I'll put 1 cup of the wheat. So I'll start off with the wheat, which is my 1 cup. Now, another thing that you can do, which I also do, is I have wheat berries, and instead of buying wheat like this, I will grind my own wheat for this recipe, and that's using wheat berries. And I have because I have the grinding canister for the Vitamix, so that's where I grind my wheat. All right, now we did 1 cup of the wheat. Now I'm going to add 2 cups of the all-purpose flour. I'm going to throw that in here. Just kind of tap it. Just kind of tap it. That's good enough. Now, because I added 2 cups of the all-purpose flour, that means that for every cup of all-purpose flour, I have to add back 1 tablespoon of gluten. So I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to put 2 of the gluten in here. And I store my gluten, once it's open, I store it in a jar in the refrigerator. Okay, so now we're going to add also 1 tablespoon of powdered milk. You can use any brand that you like. This one is a low-fat one. I've used the whole milk one as well. And then we're going to use 2 teaspoons of sugar. I'm using regular cane sugar for this recipe. And then it's 1.5 of salt. You can lower the salt if you want, if it feels a little bit too salty for you. I'm going to do 1. I usually do a little bit less than the half when I get to the half, so I don't fill the half all the way. That's the way I like it. So I'll do that. And then we're basically done. So the next thing is I'll just kind of mix that around a little bit. And then now I will add my yeast. And I will put it right on the top. I leave a little indentation there. And for this recipe, we need 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. So we're gonna put 1, 2, and then I have my half measure here. Is my half. And that's it. That's how easy it is to make bread. So then now I place this in my bread maker. In 3 hours, I'm going to have a nice hot loaf of bread. And I'll bring you back when it's done. All right, so here's the machine. As you can see, the paddle is doing all the work for me. So now I can go and edit a video and then make my dinner. And then this will be done. Then I can go back out to the garden. And it's really great to have this kind of machine. And it'll bake it right in there for me. You can see how good of a job the bread maker is making the bread, and it's going to rest it, it's going to knead it for me. It came together really nicely in a ball. You want to check the bread maker after a few minutes just to make sure that everything came together, that this thing didn't come loose. And now that I see that everything is good, there's some bits that stay here, so I'll just kind of come here and just add them on there. You can see it's done a good job. That's it to making bread. So now I can go and do my stuff, and then I'll come back and I'll have fresh bread. And that's how easy it is to make when you have a bread maker to bake bread. Just turned off the machine, and here's the bread. It's nice and hot. I wish you could smell it. It smells so good. All right, just took it out, and that's what it looks like. It's nice and warm, but I just had my dinner. So as you can see, it makes a good sized loaf of bread. Looking at Missy girls. Oh, is Mama Cow back there? Let's go see if it's Mama Cow. If she's with the baby, you think? Well, Missy girls, you're gonna go look. Why didn't you come over there and see Mrs. Cow? You're a little scared to see her? She's beautiful. She keeps looking at us over here. Hey, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.